Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Stacey and I'm the Teen Services Librarian at the Naper Blvd Library. And for our craft video today, I'm going to show you how to make granulated wax candle jars. This is a really simple way to make candles without needing heat to melt any wax. And so you can do it with anyone. This is great for teens. You can do this with little kids with some adult supervision. So I really hope you'll have fun watching this craft and try it at home. You can get all of the supplies at local hobby stores, craft stores. You get them in bulk online and make tons and tons and tons of jars, give them as gifts. It is a lot of fun, and if you do happen to make this craft, I would love to see the ones you make. You can drop a picture in our comments below because I'll be looking to see everybody's great creations. So let's get to the video and I'll show you how to make it.
So here's all the supplies that we're going to need for this craft. You can get everything at local hobby stores or online, and you can get as much as you want for as many candles as you'd like to make. So you're going to need some glass jars, and you see I have an assortment of different jars here in different sizes. Some are really simple, some are a little bit fancier. I have this one that has a lid that I used for another craft that could work real well. You just want to find a nice selection and make sure that the bottom is flat because you're going to need your wick to stand up on the bottom. So we'll put those aside here. And then along with that, you're going to need wicks. Now I bought a pack of these freestanding wicks that are dipped in wax so they stand up straight and easy inside the container. You're going to want to make sure that they're longer than the container that you're going to use, and we'll go over that later, but when you're buying it, just keep that in mind. A pencil or some sort of stick or utensil for when we start manipulating the granules. Anything can work. A ruler, a scissors, and then we have our wax granules. Now I bought a whole bunch online and I actually divvied them up into these little baggies to make it easier to work with. You can see the granules I'm talking about, how small they are. And if I put them in individual bags, it works really well. You can always reuse them and keep a bunch in small containers for later, and then you don't accidentally mix up your big stuff. Okay, so let's clean up all this stuff. We'll set all this aside because to start with, all we're gonna need is one of our wicks, our scissors, our ruler, and a jar. So let's set this all up here. And when you're choosing your jar, I'm gonna go with this little square one because you wanna make sure that your wick, which this one, like I said, is dipped in wax and has the stand on the bottom, you're going to want to make sure that it extends out at least a ½ inch above the top of the jar. You can use your ruler to measure, and later on you can leave it long and we will trim it later on, but you just want to make sure to start that it's long enough. See, this jar here, I didn't realize is not tall enough. The wick is not tall enough and it falls right in there, so that is not going to work for this round. So I'm going to save that and use that for a different candle when I have a longer wick. So all three of these over here are perfect, but I'm going to do this nice little square one. So you can see that I'm going to kind of work the wick so that it's straight again because it got a little crushed, and it stands right in the center really easily, flat on the bottom. If you're having issue, you can always put a little piece of tape on the bottom. Also, if you have a ruler like I do that has a hole in it, you can also use this to sort of adjust it and pour around it. It's kind of annoying, so I don't tend to do that, but it is an option. And you can go ahead and trim your wick if it is too long, or you can do that later. Okay, so now for the fun part. We're going to take our wax, and I am going to open just a corner of the little baggie here, and I'm going to pour an even amount all around the bottom and covering that base of that wick. You can see just around there to cover it, and this will help give it stability. And the more we pour, that wick will then stay in the center and keep straight in the middle, so as it burns evenly. So I'm just going to pour a little bit to start. And here, let me show you what that looks like. Camera, tilt it gently and you can see. And then I'm going to take another color. I love this green, so we'll take this one next. And same thing, I'm just going to open a corner. You can also, if you'd like, cut a corner of it to pour out and get it that way. Just be careful then that you don't tip it over and spill everywhere. And so I'm going to add some in differing layers. So on one side, I'm going to put more green than on the other side, and you can kind of see how you can still see the purple on one side. And now for this blue, I'm going to kind of do the opposite and put more on one side here Let's get this all, there's a clump there, that's good. It's very tiny. And we're gonna pour that here. And kind of just go around, careful not to knock the wick too much, and pour it in varying layers of different depths. And I'm going to show you, you guys can see how, see this side, I don't have as much of one color, but on these ones I have more. Now, I'm going to save all of the manipulation to the very end. So right now, I'm just going to keep pouring in layers because I kind of like the sort of weird zebra stripe pattern that you get when you do that. But the great thing about this is you can do it however you want. And the more you do it, the more sort of ideas you formulate and techniques that you like. And you kind of get to know what way works best for you. So I'm just going to keep pouring different colors on this. And obviously you can do more than just 3. I did 3 to keep it simple and because these go really well together. But I'm pouring in uneven layers so that it's not just a really simple striation where you see all the colors on one side in equal depths. I'm gonna keep pouring a little and see, since you can see the blue, if I pour this up here in just a little bit, kind of gives a neat zebra stripe later on when I show you before we go to the next step of messing with it. And you can kind of see how we're getting cool patterns here. So we will keep pouring all the granules in. If they get on your table, not a big deal. Very tiny, we'll clean it up later. And you're gonna wanna keep going until the very top of your jar. Obviously you don't wanna overflow, but you wanna go pretty close to the top here, and that'll give us a lot of opportunity to have a lot of different colored layers and a lot of different depths. And then later on we can manipulate it and see what other neat things we got. So let's keep adding here. And make sure while you're going that you want to just make sure your wick stays centered. As we pour, obviously the more wax will help keep it in place, but just kind of eyeball it and make sure it stays. And you can kind of see here, try not to tip it so that I don't ruin it. And let's do some more. I'm running out of purple. I love this purple. I wish I had more. I should have put more in this baggie for you guys. There we go. Bye bye purple. There's the rest. Okay. And let's put some more green on the top, like this. And we're getting really close to the top of the jar, so I think we're getting close to being done with our wax portion here. Let's just put a little bit of the blue on top. And there we go. I think that looks good. So let me show you kind of close up how all the different layers look because of the way that we poured. You can see some sides are more even. Some have a really cool sort of zebra effect down there, I keep calling it. And you can see some colors more than others. Okay, so let's just clean up our workspace a little bit here and move on to our final step. Now here is when we're going to use one of our pointy utensils, either like the stick or chopstick or the pencil I have here. And we're going to push down through our layers to get this cool little effect here. Now you can do this while you're pouring each individual layer and you'll get a more defined sort of stripe. But I wanted to kind of show you what it would look like without doing it at all and then doing it sort of at the end. You get a similar effect, but the wax colors blend in a little bit more this way. So just something to keep in mind when you're deciding what you want your cool candle to look like. So you can go all the way to the bottom, you can go partial way through, oops, I was getting a good look, so and there, you can see how it kind of looks, it mixes in between and the wax falls through the holes that you're kind of making here. So you're just gonna keep on doing as many as you like, wherever you want. And maybe just a few there. It's like a marbleized effect almost, kind of a theme this summer craft program with marbleized effects. So there you go. And you can leave that as is. You can add some more. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of my wax at the top here so that it's up to the top. And we'll go ahead and do that. But an optional step is, if you want to, once you are completely done with your design, you can take a lighter and carefully melt the top layer of wax together so that if you do give this as a gift, it doesn't shake around and ruin it as you give it to somebody else. So I will add a little bit more here at the top, but that's just something, it's an optional thing depending on who you're giving it to. You can go ahead and do, safety precautions as always. But here we go, I'm just gonna kind of even this out. You're gonna wanna let this settle for a while before you move it so that all the little granules kind of get into place before you finish it. But there's our finished candle. So if you guys try this at home, please leave some photos in our comments below. I'd love to see them, and thanks for joining me.